Welcome to the Agent from Within podcast, the only podcast that's here to develop the real estate agent as a human being, to help you get out of your own way, to actually align yourself to what you really want in your life, and then build a real estate business around that. We have to focus on the person behind the strategies. Yes, this is going to be filled with tactics, business advice, amazing interviews. But if you're not in the right place mentally and emotionally, you will self-sabotage your business. You will chase, you will compare. This is about creating the best race car driver, not just the best race car. Any race car driver can jump into any car and win the race. We need to develop you as a human being. This is the only place that real estate agents can actually focus on growing yourself and growing your business. Cheers.
Like if you're doing marketing, let's think about marketing for a sec. So I'm going to bring you back. Why I start talking about this is when you're doing marketing, if you don't get a chance to call your client or a potential client about your marketing, I don't believe your marketing is complete. So what I'm saying is this: is your marketing worth bragging about? Now let's think about this. If you bought a billboard and you put out flyers, okay? Would you call your clients and potential clients and tell them about it? Would you say, "Oh, John, you should check it out. I've got this billboard. My face is on it. It talks about how I'm with this brokerage and how I'm the local guy and me and me and me. And my face, I look like a model. You should see it." And then, oh, by the way, did you see my flyers? Did you see my flyers that I sent you? Like, what are we actually, like, how does it sound? Like, do you have marketing that you would go and brag to someone about? It's a really good test to see what you're doing. Here's my thoughts around this. So I think about the way that this business is positioned is more like real estate agents are a utility. And here's what I mean. So what you do, let's just say this. When someone sees all those billboards and those flyers, yes, they will call you. They'll call you when they need you. Now let's take a look at that format of relationship. Imagine having a friend that only called you when they needed you. Is that a real relationship? By taking real estate and the interactions we have with our clients and overlapping them on what a real relationship is, it really discloses that we are not in relationship with our clients. We're on a call me when you need me basis. Now, what are other areas that we would call someone or when we need them? I think about a rental property. So if I've got a rental property, my tenant moves out and I got to get utilities set up for when I'm doing the re-rental because I didn't get another one right away, I would do this. I would look for the biggest brand with the most marketing. I would call them. I would say, "Hey, I need to set up gas." In relationship to real estate, you would find the biggest brand. You would talk to the biggest real estate agent, go, "I need to sell my house." Exactly the same function. I would then hope that I got a competent person on the other line. And in real estate, you just hope this top real estate agent's competent. When I pay the bill and I hook up my utilities, I say, "Thank you. I'll call you next time I need you." And I believe that the same thing is happening with real estate agents, is that they get used when they're needed, they get engaged, and they say, "I'll call you when I need you again." That's because us as agents have such a low freaking bar that we're not blowing our clients' minds, because I can tell you most of the clients we get had a real estate agent. This has to change. Our group can change that. I know I have. I've only been in the business, 6 years from when I record this? And it's like I haven't done business in a while, and I just got this constant run of referrals. So it's almost like whenever I need a deal, I can grab one. Now, here's the thing, like, think about it, guys. The goal is like a rocket ship. Someday I'm going to get a guy that was on the moon or in a rocket that's been to the space station come speak with me on stage about how the rocket launches. So if you guys know anyone, I'm looking for that guy. But here's the thing. It's 80% of the fuel to get up through the atmosphere. Once you get through the atmosphere, you get to orbit, and it takes no energy. That's the space thing doing whatever. That's the psh noise. And so the thing is, you can guide an entire 50-ton ship or 100-ton ship around with a little bit of fuel. This is what we're trying to do. but we know most people don't get to the orbit. Remember, the goal is in 20 years, you're not doing sales. Maybe in 10 years, you're not doing any kind of sales. Your budget drops completely, and all you do is take care of your list. That's the goal. So you guys see what I'm saying? Are we a utility or are we something special? Like if I had a relationship said, I'll call you when I need you, I'd say, gross. I don't want that. That's not real to me. This is why hyper aggressive and rude realtors make it in this business when they should not be allowed. Because if you're rude, like some of these real estate agents are total assholes and they still do well. That just shows how freaking low the bar is. I think that people want an aggressive real estate agent. They want a tough negotiator. They want someone that's just giver, but why not be that person with absolute extreme thoughtfulness, kindness, and empathy and aggression? I'm telling you, this is what happens with me. Sometimes I'm in tears with my clients, but hell, I'm a freaking aggressive real estate agent. It's the secret mix, guys. When we're dealing with a utility company, we don't have an emotional reaction. What we need is that emotional reaction to make a connection. And that's why if you're just offering services, like the example too is I talked to Eric. You know, Eric has been in the business for a while and he just had the thought going, well, why would I buy them closing gifts? But obviously he's full in on closing gifts now, and very personal closing gifts, because it creates the connection. And we're looking way longer term than just looking at the original sale. So I'm going to pause for a second, guys. Do you have any questions and any thoughts, or we just want to keep moving forward here? So the next thing is this. Like, you think about once you make an emotional connection with a client, like you really do, and you do your thoughtfulness, which is the magnets, the crazy closing experiences, the birthday gifts, and different things that you do. And then even if you give them a free ticket to the home and garden show, like you stay in connection that way. What happens is we move from a utility type of relationship to a real relationship. And it reminds me of like this. If your mom or dad wanted to list, or a brother or sister, like you would assume that they would probably use you. Let's just assume that your mom and dad would use you. You don't have to wine and dine them over the years. You don't have to do anything really. And they're going to call you and say, can you list the house? They call you because of the long-term emotional connection they have with you. They're your kid. You're their kid. There's more than just business. It's really about the relationship. So guys, remember the goal is 10 referrals per client. That's 10 referrals per client. If you're focusing on getting a sale the whole entire time, if you don't make a connection, it's scary. Like the guy that wants to buy the first day you meet, he closes in 2 weeks. That's the hardest client, because I'm not going to get 10 sales out of that. It's so easy to keep your client base going with a phone call, a birthday wish, a video message, maybe send them a funny text. This is how you run your referral machine. The one thing is this, guys, do you know people struggle with making that phone call to say, hey, I'm a real estate agent and I'm just following up. Like when I say call a stranger, talk to a stranger, when I say make that call, man, do people hesitate? Even in my office, I see it, even myself. But if you had a really good reason to call your base, it's really, really easy to do follow-ups and attempts. Here's an example. If I call and say, hey, it's Ben here. I know that I met you at an open house and I just wanted to see if you wanted to kind of go look at some properties together. And that's what we do. Maybe we get a little personality in there, go, hey, how's your daughter? I saw your little dog out there, you know, blah, blah, blah. Like you try your best to connect. But what if you said this, hey, I met at an open house. I have $100 bill for you. Where do you live? I'll just drop it off. Like that, I'm not saying to do that. I'm using that as an example of value in a phone call. If I had $100 for every person that I called, how many people would want to talk to me? Everyone. I had a Facebook interaction yesterday before it crashed and all this. I don't know. Did anyone see that? You saw that, hey? It wasn't, there's no judgment around it, but it's just like I challenged the person, like, well, she says, well, people, the big thing is, like, my whole idea was brokerages need to offer more than just training, because if the training does not work, there's nothing else to offer. like you fall apart. Like if that's really all you're offering and the person behind the strategy doesn't do the training, it's not your fault, it's their fault, but they're still going to leave your brokerage because it's the only offering that you're offering on training. So that was just the point. But the point was, it was really interesting conversation I had, because on Facebook, someone just says, well, you know what? I think in this business, people need to really be the real estate agents need to be responsible, and they need to be able to they need to be showing up to the training. So I challenged her and said, if you're doing training that no one's showing up to, it's just got no value. Because if you were to say everyone that shows up to your training gets a $100 bill, you'd be sold out every single time. And so it was a really interesting, honest expression going, if no one's coming to your brokerage, you're not giving value. Like, let's get real. If nobody's in my coaching program, it must not have value. Because if everyone says, like, I'm looking at that, like if someone doesn't show up to the coaching, or I'm checking in, because I'm like, where am I not giving you value, or where can I support you personally? Those are the two things, because the value's here. There's no question. But the thing is, the same thing is when you make a phone call to a stranger or to a past client, what is the reason for calling is where the value is. Like, here's an example, guys. You saw me say, no, we did. We executed. Check this out. We got the home and garden show tickets. Because my list was organized, we sent out about 500 notices to clients saying, we've got 20 tickets we're giving away to the home and garden show. How many do you want? And then we asked a couple questions. So we always get information from them, and I got that done. I think we got 30 people interested. But what a cool thing we could have done is, hey, John, hey, Susie, I've got some tickets. Do you want the tickets? Do you want the tickets? I've got home and garden show tickets. I've got tickets. There's a reason to do attempts, follow-ups, and action promises. You got to have a reason to make that phone call, hence why you want marketing that you want to tell people about. Because I'm telling you, at the end of the day, if you can get on the phone and go, hey, Susie, do you want a free ticket to the home and garden show? There's something that happens. Like, it's a wonderful experience. If anyone calls me and even calls me and says, Ben, do you want this? That's a cool call. But if you call and say, hey, I'm looking at selling something, I don't know. Like, I hate those calls, to be honest. So this is what I'm trying to say. We have to have a reason to call people. So this is why I came up with a couple marketing strategies that are a little bit out there, a little guerrilla-like, but it gives such power to leverage on the conversation that you can actually go sell your opportunity. So here's the first one, guys. First, my favorite quote. It was something that I built myself. It's one of my favorites. It says, you guys remember this: keep moving forward, even if it's slow. Adjust along the way. If you need perfection, you are never going to move forward. If you need to feel like everyone's got to like you, you'll never move forward. Move forward, execute something, even if it's at 20 or 30% success, but don't quit. Do it again. Change the game. Be adjusting. So you want to move forward as your first instinct, and then adjust second.